And now, it's time for another Dice Tower review with Tom Vasel.
Hey everybody, I'm Tom Vasel, and today we're taking a look at Vindication. Now, Vindication was actually in my top 10 anticipated games of the year. I think it was called Epoch the Awakening at the time, and I really liked the idea of the theme. I mean, this box cover looks epic. Yeah, basically, you are a guilt-ridden scumbag who has betrayed people on your ship. They throw you overboard, you wash up on an island, and you got to make a name for yourself and restore your honor. Well, that's really cool. When I opened up the game and I looked at it, there were some cool miniatures, but we didn't even use most of them over the course of the game. And there's a lot of cubes, and I found out that it was a Euro-style game. That wasn't what I was expecting it at all. But that doesn't mean it's a bad game. Let's take a look. The goal of Vindicated is to get the most honor. See, everyone starts off as a wretched, guilt-ridden scumbag. So this is you at the beginning of the game. You would like to become Vindicated. You don't have to become Vindicated to win the game, but you're trying to get a bunch of honor. At the beginning of the game, everyone's going to draw one of these journey cards, and this is going to show where you wash up ashore. So I put my playing piece, for example, maybe here in the 7. Let's say I'm orange. I would start there. I see the 2 tiles that are next to me. A traveler randomly revives me, so I'll draw a blue companion, and this is somebody who's going to be helping me. Empress Rune, the Violent Sun. The Empress revived me. That's pretty cool. So then I'll put her next to my board. And everyone is going to be starting also with 1 knowledge, 1 strength, and 1 inspiration, yellow, red, and blue. Now, one of the things, like I said, you're trying to get honor over the course of this game. What players are attempting to do is they're going to be manipulating these cubes. So you have cubes in your potential, influence, or conviction. As the game goes by, occasionally you'll get to augment a cube, which means taking it from potential to influence or from influence to conviction. If a cube ever comes off the board anywhere, it goes into your influence section, and influence is what you'll be spending to do actions. And if you need to put cubes out as if they are resources like strength, inspiration, and knowledge, you'll take them from influence. You can't take cubes from potential until you move them up in influence. And conviction cubes can be used for even more things like controlling map regions, drawing extra cards, or keeping someone from dying. So manipulating your cubes is a pretty big deal. On your turn, you have 3 actions that you can take. You can take them in any order. You can move. Everyone starts with a base movement of 2. So I can move, for example, from triangle to triangle. Once you're done moving, you'll add new areas to the board if they weren't already there. You can also use a board location, and you can use yourself or your companion. When you use yourself, you'll simply get 1 yellow, blue, or red resource, taking it from your influence and putting it on the board until you're Vindicated, in which it's 2. If you use one of your companions, you'll get whatever resources it shows up here. So, for example, this person gives you 2 blue. I need to put an influence on that character to use them, kind of tying up that cube. And they also give me a special ability. This person once per turn can convert a purple cube to an honor point. And they're also worth honor points. At any point, I can pull all the cubes off of someone, but that person then leaves me, and I will lose those honor points. So I don't necessarily want to do that. So I'm going to want to utilize these people as best as I can, and more importantly, utilize the board spaces. Now, instead of using a board space, you can always rest, which just means you can augment 1 cube. But you'll often want to use these spaces on the board. If you use the Academy, you will roll this white die and get one of the 6 different color resources. If you use the Monastery, you can spend knowledge, and for each knowledge that you spend, you can augment 1 cubes. Save up a lot of blue cubes, and you can move things over. If you use the Command Post, you can pay strength, red cubes, to go to the next level of movement. So now I can move 3, and it also gives you some honor points whenever you go up like that. There are also spots on the board. You can see right here, the Library, Holy Spire, and Fort, and multiple of these will show up, and you simply get 2 blue, 2 yellow, or 2 red. You can also go here and pay 2 blue, 2 yellow, 2 red to hire another person to put on the board, another companion. So you can get a group of companions. And as time goes by, this building will show up, which allows you to take influence off your companion safely so that you can use it again by spending yellow's inspiration. Now, yellows, blues, and reds are pretty easy to come by over the course of the game, but you're going to want green, orange, and purple too. The game comes with some free actions that you can take. You can always take one blue and one red and turn it into a purple. You can do it as many times as you want. And the same thing, blue and yellow make green, yellow and red make orange. So that's one of the ways to get those cubes. Those cubes will allow you to do various things. When you go to the arcane tower, you can take one of the relics. And by the way, anytime you get a card, you can take from the top face down or the face up one. Relics allow you to put influence on them and use them for special abilities. Like this one here gives you basically bonuses towards end of the game control. But many of them give you one-time use things that you can pull off, and then you can go back to the arcane tower and recharge them if you so desire. As the game goes by, you'll also fight monsters by going to the gaping maw using orange cubes. When you fight a monster, it's not you who fight it, it's one of your companions will fight it for you, and they're going to always defeat the monster, but they have to roll the black die, which might have nothing. It might cause you to put 2 influence on them because they're tired, or it might even kill them, which is bad unless you can save them with a conviction cube. And monsters will give you lots of honor and endgame bonuses. So that's what's good about monsters. Traits will give you special abilities. Everything gives you honor when you get it, of course. Here, whenever I activate my character, I can gain an extra of the chosen attribute. And you'll need 2 green cubes and need to go to the ancient tomb to be able to pull that off. So like I said, there's various places to go around. There's multiple places to go for different things. And players are going to be going around moving cubes. If you ever have gotten all your potential cubes into your influence area, and you've reached at least 25 honor, you can instantly become Vindicated as a free action, which is worth 5 points and makes utilizing your character a better option. Other than that, you're just going to keep moving around until the end of the game is triggered. See, there are 2 endgame triggers drawn at the beginning of the game. If someone has 6 or more companions, or if everyone's been vindicated, the game will end. Anytime someone reaches a coin on the board, you'll be putting a coin 15 spaces after where people start on the honor track, and every time someone reaches those, we turn over another endgame trigger. And there's a lot of different endgame triggers. The more will come out, eventually the game will end. You finish out the round and do one more round. Then players are going to see who controls the most of each color cards, whether they're monsters or yellow companions, and those people are going to get an endgame bonus. As the game is progressing, players can always, as a free action, spend 3 of a color cube to take a proficiency if there's any left, and these count as 2 towards that endgame bonus. But that's it. You know, they don't give you any special bonuses. They're just if you're trying to win that endgame bonus. Each player at the beginning of the game will also have a couple secret quests that they'll pick one of, and if you meet the different requirements on your secret quest, you will also get the bonus points there. There's a few other rules, but that's basically it. There's lots of different modules that can be included with the game that you essentially will change by switching out some of the buildings and adding in different buildings, like a well of wishes or one that gives you pets and things like that. But you don't have to play with them. What I just showed you is the base game. Most honor at the end of the game is the winner. So the game comes with both a rule book here and some art, okay? But the rule book itself is really nicely laid out. It tells you if you want to know about a specific card, all the different expansions and extra things that can be added are at the end. There it explains each of the cards very clearly, and then it goes over the rules in a really nicely well done way. The board itself has 2 sides to it. One side is kind of like not much on it. And I guess that's if you want to use a more artistic side. I prefer to use the side with the grid on it, and it shows you where the cards go and stuff, but you can use either side. The game itself, the production is just off the charts. I mean, we have these really nice inserts here, the game trays with the coins, the metal coins, the dice are super good quality. I mean, everything is cool, and it's really neat how you use the lid itself of the game trays thing to put these tokens in, and again, everything's easy to come out. The cards, this game came with the sleeve cards, but it is neat. These cards are actually printed so that the sides of them go in like that. I don't know, that's kind of a neat thing. The iconography, everything about this game is cool. Now, there is a lot of miniatures in the game. These miniatures, I mean, you use a starting player miniature is the only thing you're going to use in the base game, and the other ones are mostly placeholders. They're not necessary, so I mean, You don't need them. They're nice to have, but the miniatures are kind of an extra thing. This is what just is phenomenal to me, how nice these are and how you have your playing piece. The color on the bottom is basically what you're using for that, but everything fits in here really well. Normally, I'm not a big fan of cubes and everything like that, but I like the artwork. It's neat how you change from Wretched to Vindicated, and these game trees are just amazing. So overall, just a very high production value. It gives off the vibe of it being something else, like this, adventure story time game rather than being a Euro game. But it doesn't matter. Euro games can look pretty too. Oh my goodness, this is an amazing game. Top 5 of the year for sure. I love this. Now, it wasn't what I was expecting. I didn't really do a lot of research into the game. I heard about the theme, which is a really cool theme, and I heard about, the jumping in off the island and everything, and I was expecting it to go around and fight monsters and stuff. And you do go fight monsters and stuff, but it's kind of abstracted down into getting these cubes and manipulating them. But it's so much fun because Vindication falls into the category of one of my favorite things, a sandbox game. Do what you want. You have 3 actions. Use a location, move, and then use one of your different companions. There's a big pile of companions. There's different locations, especially when you throw in these modules. The variety of this is just amazing. It scales well. It plays fairly quickly. We're talking 70 minutes, 80 minutes maybe, and that's including setup. Oh, and I played this game with lots of the different modules already. One of the modules, which gives you a 4th action in your turn, is my favorite. But like the pets are neat, the Well of Wishes, they're all minor stuff. You can even play with some more negative cubes. There's not a ton of interaction, but there's some neat things. So one thing I didn't mention in the overview, but I should, is you can use those conviction cubes to take control of a territory, which means anytime anyone else uses that territory, it's yours. You get 2 victory points. And you can take control of it from someone else. You have to spend 1 cube to get rid of theirs, and then you put a cube of your own in there. But you need conviction cubes to do that. And at the end of the game, you also get 2 points for every spot on the board you still control at that point in time. So there's this back and forth as you take those from each other and try to get secret goals. But there's also kind of, what am I focused on? Fighting monsters. Maybe I'm focused on getting traits. Maybe I want the relics. Maybe I'm going to ignore all that and get a bunch of companions. The end game trigger thing is brilliant. It keeps the game moving. I mean, I played one game of this that I thought was long, comparative to the rest of them, was maybe it almost reached 2 hours, and that was with 3 new players, and it just worked out that the end game triggers weren't triggered as quickly, and it still was enjoyable, still was a tremendously great experience. Man, there's so much good I can say about this. The component quality is excellent. The artwork is phenomenal. The theme is really cool. And it meets that thing where I say, not all these Euro games have to be a dour-looking guy on the front cover who's unhappy with his life because he's a silk trader in the 1500s. This is this really cool fantasy world where I get to go around and do what I want. And every single game I played at Vindication, and I played a lot, I've done something different. I'll be like, this time I'm going to concentrate on relics, and get a lot of them and then go recharge them. Now, some of this is determined by your starting companions and your secret quests. They can kind of give you a focus of what to do and where to go. But man, there's so much potential in this box. And it doesn't feel like this humongously epic game, which I'm glad for. There's a lot of these big epic games where you open it, it's like campaign, 200 games. That's great. I like that those games exist. But sometimes I just want to sit down and play a game. And I think this one's going to appeal to a lot of people. I think it's not going to appeal to some people who go into it looking for swords and sorcery and go fight battles and stuff. That theming is there, but again, it's more about changing these cubes over to these, but it has such immediate fun reactions. I can upgrade my mount to this weird spidery thing and get 5 movement and be able to go all over the map, or maybe ignore my mount and go find a relic that lets me just teleport places when I spend charges. Am I going to move my conviction and vindicate myself? Or you know what, I'm going to ignore that this game. I'll stay a guilt-ridden scumbag and get a bunch of companions to do my work for me. Either way, every time I sit down and play this, I get this joyful feeling, this excitement. I'm going to go in and play a fun, fast game. I feel like there's a lot of punch into this game. I don't think this is a game for everyone. Like I said, people looking for rolling dice and seeing what happens, it's not going to be there. There's a little bit of die rolling in it, but for the most part, it's just neat. Now, I didn't go over every little rule. There's some minor things, but I'm telling you, this game is super easy to pick up. I know the rules pretty well at this point. I mean, after playing a couple games, I was able to teach it really quickly to others. and I'm just looking to see how many of these different modules I can stick in. I'm just very excited about this one. It's a lot of fun. Highly, highly recommend it. Vindication. Dice Tower Judgment, excellent.